All right. So when we talk about higher education, the question is, what's the essence of education itself? The word education is taken from the Greek word eduko, right? Or educe. The word educe means to draw out, to draw from within. When you say educe something, you are drawing that thing from within. You are drawing that thing from within. So the original intent of education is to draw from within. It's to train someone from within, not from without. So education, the original intent of education based on the word itself is to help a person become all that that person is not to make a person something other than who the person is, but to make that person all that that person is, all that that person was created by God, endowed by God to be. But that has been corrupted, right? Now we're making people who we want that person to be, not who that person is, right? And that's why we have depression, we have failures, we have poor, rich, all of that stuff. But God's mindset, and that's why the Bible talks about that, train up a child in the way the child should go, in the way that God has created that child to go, in the way God has shaped that child to go, in the way God has set, according to what is written in the book concerning that child, according to the hand of God that you see in the life of that child, right? Not the way you want that child to grow, but according to the hand of God that you see in that child. That is education. But today, that's not really what we see, right? We're not educing out. Rather, we're force-fitting what society, what parents, what peer pressure wants people to be. So people are in professions or in jobs that they do not like, right? They are not satisfied. They are not happy. They just go to work and come back and looking for something else, right? They don't feel fulfilled in that job. They don't see the job as play. They see the job as work, right? And unless you see the job that you do as play, you cannot give the whole of your being, the whole of yourself to it. Therefore, there's a limitation on how far you can go in that job and how much you can prosper in that job, right? So that's pretty much the challenge we get to face, right? So I've seen people whose parents have either forced them to be doctors or forced them to be lawyer or forced them to be engineers, and they do it for their parents. And when they're done, they go do something else, right? I've seen a doctor become a baker, I've seen an engineer become a fashion person, engineer go and teach, people have their own passions, right? But they've been forced along a line that is not in the path of the way God has shaped them. I love one of the things I read from Oprah Winfrey. She said that all the money she's made it by being herself. That if only someone had told, if he had known this earlier, she would have been herself much earlier, right? She's broken through. She's become a billionaire just by being herself, right? She's working the path that was cut out for Oprah, not the path that is cut out for someone else, and that has made her a lot of money, right? I was reading also this past week about some other big women, who are making it in their different field, and they said all that is making it for them is they're being their authentic self, right? They are doing things according to who they are, not someone else. Someone who's an introvert, is respecting her personality, so she's respecting the fact that being an introvert, she's a deep thinker. She's a deep thinker, so she's able to process things from her personality, and that is helping her. Another person who is what they call an impact, someone who is emotional, who is easily can relate to people's emotion. She's been able to use that to progress, in a chosen profession, So we're all different, right? You have people who have been, I know Susan Cain, is one of those that have championed the cause of introverts, which she wrote her book Quiet, and that's been used in different places to help introverts. In my place of work, we have a network which we call Quiet Leaders, which is based on that from our book. So we have introverts. We also open to extroverts also, but key thing is that we just help introverts, to build, to find themselves, and not be lost in an extrovert world, So all of those help, and so so when we talk about education is not about the accumulation of knowledge. It's not the accumulation of degree, diploma, or certificates. And I see people lost in that. I know people that are looking for work. While looking for work, they keep on accumulating one degree upon the other. It's good. That's what makes you happy. But that you don't need that to make money. You don't need that to become a billionaire. You don't need that to become a millionaire. You don't need that to become financially empowered. And financial empowerment has nothing to do with degrees, nothing to do with diploma, nothing to do with certificate, nothing to do with just accumulation of knowledge for the sake of knowledge. Like we say, knowledge is not power, right? It is the application of the knowledge that's power. So it's not just knowledge, it's the understanding of the knowledge and being able to, with your understanding, deduce the wisdom in the knowledge, and not just then having that, but then applying it, putting it to use. That is what gives you power. That is what moves the needle. That is what makes, that is what opens door, for you, right? And I love a quote I posted earlier in the week, that's why I brought it back here. It says, I'd rather be rich and be anonymous. I'd rather be rich and not have a doctorate degree or PhD after my name. Why have all the PhD and long degree and be poor and not be able to meet the needs, of me, not be able to meet my need, So financial empowerment has nothing to do with the MMN, FFP, OON, all of that are useless, when we talk about finance.